Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Daily Update for Mullen stock. And the question arises now, where do we go from here? Because we already know that Mullen has delivered about 7 vans to Randy Marion, which is a good thing, right? That's a starting point. It's a breakthrough. I think it's really good that finally they have delivered something, which is a good news. Now, where do we go from here? The question is, are we going to see any short squeeze on the stock? And this is the biggest question I got. And let's answer that question for you guys. I'm going to show you guys some facts, all right? And hopefully you guys are not going to come after me because these are just facts. And I'm not trying to give you, and I'll give you my opinion on that, but I'm not trying to manipulate the facts in a way that, you know, it's twisted, or I'm trying to get you away from the stock or anything like that. But the question is, are we going to have a short squeeze? So let's take a look. The very first thing for the criteria of a short squeeze, okay? The short interest. What is a short interest? The short interest is how many people are interested in shorting the stock where they believe the stock is going to go down. How the short squeeze happens is when you have this number a lot higher than this, and you have a very positive momentum coming in from another direction, you come into a squeeze, which means that people that were shorting the stock, as soon as the price start rising, they would have to cover their shorts because they would lose money every time the price goes up. So when they start covering the short, it creates a short squeeze, which means the price keep rising because they keep buying the stock from the market to cover their shorts. Okay, with that being said, the lower the number is, the less likely we're going to have a short squeeze. So for example, for Mullen right now, the short interest is about 8.80%. Just to give you guys perspective, what is AMC's short interest? AMC's short interest is about 24%. All right, just to give you guys perspective, I'm going to compare Mullen with AMC just for the comparison's sake, just to give you guys perspective here. All right, 8.8%. Now let's look at cost to borrow. And cost to borrow is when you want to short the stock, you would have to borrow the stock from somewhere. Like, let's say, for example, if the medium brokerage firm is trying to short the stock, they would have to have a physical share in hand to be able to short it. Okay. And how do they do that? They borrow the share from the broker. They say, Mr. Broker, you already have a possession of the share. Please give me X amount of shares. I'm going to take this. I will short it in the market. And because they know the price of the stock is going to go down, when the price goes down, they buy back the share, pay back the broker the share and the fee. Now, you got to remember, the fee is like the highest the fee is, the hottest the stock is in terms of shorting it. The lowest the fee is, nobody's coming after the stock in a way that the broker is charging an enormous amount of fee. For example, Bed Bath & Beyond, when it broke out like 2 months ago and everybody thought that is going to be another GameStop, the short interest, the fee was at that point was 375%. Very high because everybody's trying to short the stock because they knew stock was tumbling down. Is going to come down to $1. At the time, it was around $7 or so when it had a peak on February something. Okay. With that being said, so fee is really low and available shares. Okay. This number also has to be very limited. You can't have 10 million shares available, for cost to borrow. Let's take a look at AMC for comparison's sake. Let's take a look at AMC. AMC fee is about 180%. Available share 10,000. So you see how it's different from Mullen. Mullen is 10 million shares available to be borrowed at 8% fee. And from AMC is like only 10,000 available to borrow at 180% fee, which means this is a lot higher. This is a lot hotter than Mullen stock. Okay. Now the question is, are we going to have a short squeeze? Looking at these numbers, even if you're trying to pump the stock, this could have been a best case scenario where you could have had a pump. Could have a short squeeze. This guy could have gone to like 21 cents, 20 cents, 22 cents, but it stopped out at 16 cents, which means that having a short squeeze for the stock at this point is less likely. Even if you're trying to pump the stock, the highest probably you're going to get to is 16, 18, or 20 cents. As I said, I've been making videos on the stock for a long time now. And if you're new to the channel, do consider subscribing. These levels are not drawn after the fact. These were demand levels, which means there were a lot of buyers were sitting around this area. Essentially, were gone and they were gone. Like this all supply. Now everybody here is trying to sell you the stock when the price gets to that level. And this is exactly what has happened here when it got to 16 cents. Again, it used to be a demand level, became a supply level that there were a lot of sellers were sitting around this area and they shot it back down. Now, this was the best case scenario for a short squeeze. This did not happen. I have no doubt in my mind that we are not looking at a short squeeze in a way that you would anticipate the stock to go to $1, $2, $3 as such. Maybe a couple of cents. Maybe it could go from, 12 cents to 15 cents or 12 cents to 16 cents. And maybe if you squeeze it really hard, it could go to 18 cents. But that's about it. We're not going to have a short squeeze on the stock anytime soon, unless the quantity goes down in terms of available shares in the market. If that goes down, it becomes more hotter, that is hard to get to, brokers are having a hard time trying to purchase the stock, then you have a possible scenario. For example, you know how, let's say if you're using Robinhood, right now they're offering you like 1% or something to let your shares be borrowed by others, right? The reason they're doing this is because this way they could take those shares and let other borrow it, and they could short it in the market, right? So this is how brokers do. They purchase the stock, where they, for example, if they have a lot of customers like Robinhood, a lot of customers, right? They ask them, hey, we'll give you 1% of the profit. Why don't you lend us your stock and we'll, let it borrow it from whoever want to borrow it, and then give you 1% off it. They'll be charging 7%. They'll give you 1%. So, like 8% altogether, right? So with that being said, so this is how it is. So I think having a short squeeze on the stock is impossible at this point. And we have a very good zone right here around 13 cents. If it crosses this 13 cents zone, it could go back to 15 cents for tomorrow, again, Monday. And if it crosses 15 cents, it could potentially go to 16 cents. Now, again, 16 cents, because it was shot down here, that means this shows that a lot of sellers are here. For example, if you missed out this opportunity, or let's say if you got into position at this point, now you're panicking. So if the stock comes back here, you're gonna sell it because you don't trust this stock anymore. So this is gonna be heavy level to cross at this point. With that being said, there's a very much a possibility the stock could actually go down. It could go down back to 10 cents. That's more of a possibility than going up for next week. The reason I'm bearish on the stock right now is because whatever had happened, it happened, right? Now there's a lot of pumping going on for the stock. A lot of channels are pumping the stock. That's good. A lot of people will try to get into the position. But as I said, I've been holding my position from a long time that retail investors cannot pump the stock very high. You see right here, retail investors, 6 million shares, 6 million shares, 4 million, 9 million, right? Even like retail investors only were able to push the stock from 12 to 16 cents. They were able to push only 4 cents. Think that in perspective, right? If you have retail investors only pushing 4 cents or 5 cents, what you need real smart money come into play, where they could buy actually 100 million shares or 150 million shares in one shot, which could actually push the price up. Again, as I said a million times already, there are big warrants that were exercised. That is at a play as well. 339 million, 178 million that is being sold as well. So right now I'm slightly bearish for next week. I do think the stock might hover around this area, like 12 to 13 cents, 14 cents. Maybe it could top 15 cents, but eventually it'll come down to 10 cents. For tomorrow, I do feel like stock may be hovering around 12 cents. And if it goes down from 12 cents, it might go to 10 cents. I'm not bullish on the stock for next week until we have a possible press release rumored that, okay, there's definitely a press release. Right now, there's no such scenario. You can speculate, that there's going to be a press release because they delivered the 4 vans. That's fine. If it does happen, maybe you could push the stock another couple of cents. We'll have to see for that. But for now, I believe that short squeeze is out of a question. At this point, when you're trading the stock, have your stop losses accordingly. Play it safe. Hope you guys are liking this video. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.